And let's get into the Oscars. I think we'll start with the short films. So I have seen most of these. I don't think anyone else has seen any of these. All right. So
this is your what have you seen lately?
Yes, exactly. So since these are coming up and people are going to watch them soon, I won't give too much away about these, but I will describe the ones that I've seen and what I think might win. So animated short films. There's 5 of these. I really liked 4 of them. The one I didn't like was called Adam and Dog. It's about a dog in the Garden of Eden. I didn't think the animation style was particularly special. I'm not huge into dogs. I'm more of a cat person, so maybe that led into it. But I actually read Landon did a review of these on the blog he writes for, and he said this was his favorite one. It was definitely not my favorite one. It's my least favorite one. Head Over Heels is very good. It's a stop-motion animated film. It's about this elderly couple. One of them lives on the ceiling, and one of them lives on the floor of their house. So it's like they're always – and there's a lot of good little gags mixed in with that. It was very cute, very well thought out, sort of like a commentary on how people are going to grow apart and that sort of thing. The Longest Daycare is a Simpsons short. It's sort of it's from a Simpsons episode, except it sort of goes off in a different direction. So there was an episode of The Simpsons where Maggie gets trapped in a daycare and escapes with other infants. It's that essentially, but it's takes it from like a different perspective. It changes things around. It's nice, but not anything super special. Fresh Guacamole is another stop motion. I loved this one so much. It's very short. It's literally like 2 minutes long, but it's all like cutting open like a baseball, and there's avocado inside, and taking out like mixing it up, and then like shaking out like dice onto the thing and poker chips, and it's all like sort of real world objects, but he's mixing them into guacamole. And I don't know why it captured my imagination so much, but I loved it. However, my favorite one, and the one I think is going to win, is called Paperman. And this one's actually online. You can actually look at this one online. It's a Disney animation one. Great animation style, really great character models, excellent facial animation. This one's a 3D animated one. It's got all these little animation things, like the characters aren't stock still. Like you'll see the still shot of a character and they'll be kind of swaying just real gently back and forth like a human would. You don't stand perfectly still all the time. They have little ticks. A lot of really funny moments. It's basically the story of this guy, and he's in an office and he's working really hard, and he meets this girl on a subway, and she runs off, and then he realizes that she's working in the office across the way. So now he's got to try to get her attention. All he's got is this paper. So that's where the story goes. I thought it was brilliant, and I think it's definitely gonna take the Oscar. Live action shorts. I only saw 4 of these. I got to the last one, and it was just like, I'm tired. I'm done. I can't watch any more of these right now. So I'll give you a heads up on the first 4 anyways. One of them's called Henry. It's sort of like a metaphor for like Alzheimer's, dementia, like what's going on in the head of someone with Alzheimer's. That one's pretty good. I like that one well enough. Assad is really interesting because it's about Somalian pirates, and it's about this little kid who he's a fisherman, but he's never caught a fish. And so every time he's walking, somebody gives him a fish to like take to market, so he's carrying it around, and like literally every person is saying, "Did you catch that? Did you catch that?" And it's sort of like that sort of thing. But before all that happens, he like sort of waves goodbye to all of his friends who are pirates. They have assault rifles. They're going out onto the water to get boats, to attack boats. That's literally what they're doing, and it goes on from there. But it's really good, and it's sort of a nice window into a world of people with really big problems. Not little problems like you deal with on a day-to-day basis, like, oh, there's no food today, sorry. Those kinds of problems. It's really good. Another one I really liked was called Curfew. Basically, it starts out with a guy during his suicide attempt, and his sister is like calling him and saying, "Hey, I really need you to watch my daughter, and I would never call you for this, and I know you've never seen her, but I'm really desperate. Can you help? And so he does, and it's a nice little story. It's like this little girl, maybe 6 years, 7 years old, maybe older. I can't tell little kids' ages, but it's very cute. She's sort of like, a little bossy in like that sort of cute actor kid way, and there's a dance scene in it, Jason. It reminded me a lot of the dance scene in Breakfast Club, where all the characters are like, and this little girl just does this dance, and it's kind of adorable. So that one's actually pretty good. The one I liked the best, though, out of the ones I saw was called Death of a Shadow. Basically, it's about, and it's sort of like this sci-fi fantasy thing, but this guy has a camera, and the world around him everyone is in shadow. And when he looks through the camera, he can actually see the people that are casting the shadows. Otherwise, he can only see the shadows. And what he's doing is he's taking pictures of people at the moment of their deaths. And it seems to be for some kind of like art collector. Like he'll go back to a guy and be like, well, here's what you wanted. And the guy will sort of put this shadow on his wall. But what happens is this guy is you find out that this guy is actually taking these pictures, and when he takes enough, he'll get his life back. And so it goes from there, and it turns into a thing where, he's doing this because it's the girl he loves, and he sees her in a different, in a different sort of, when he's taking a picture of someone else and finds out that she's with someone else, and then he knows the name of that person, and he gets to decide who dies in this. So it turns into a whole thing where he's now got to decide if he's going to kill the guy that is with the girl he wants to be with. And it's a really excellent film. Kind of has like no, I won't say that because that's giving too much away. But it's very melancholy and very well done effects wise. So those were generally all very good. There's only a couple I didn't like. And Buzkashi Boys, I don't know. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I didn't get a chance to look at it. So, but I do know what Buzkashi is. It's a sport played in Afghanistan, and it's on horseback. And generally, the ball is a goat's head.
So like polo with a goat's head?
Exactly.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I don't think they always use a goat's head, but in some cases, that's the traditional way to do it. But I assume it. I know the film is something about that, but I don't know much more than that. A Place for Film is recorded at WFIU Studios in Bloomington, Indiana.